Quote of the day: Be soft like rain that whispers to the earth. Be bold like roots that grow in the dark. You do not have to shine all the time. Even resting is part of the light. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened. I will give you rest. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. That is the quote of the day. Now let's get right into this video. Now, first and foremost, night 2 of Summerslam was absolutely disappointing. It wasn't completely garbage, but it's probably as close to garbage as you can get. Dude, like there was 6 matches on this card, and only 2 of the 6 matches were good, man. Like only the John Cena, the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, and the tag team TLC match was good. Besides that, everything else was just mid. Everything else was just, I don't know, average and below average, par and subpar, if that's even words to describe them. Dude, even on this show, the in-ring wrestling was worse. And I'm like, dude, come on. Night 2 was an absolute joke. Like, it wasn't terrible, but I didn't enjoy it that much. Like I said, though, only 2 out of the 6 matches on this card were good. So let's just get right into this review, and we have a lot to talk about. Dude, before I even get into it, the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Brock Lesnar's back, and let me tell you, this is so controversial, and the internet's gonna have a field day with this. There is so much to unpack about this move by WWE, dude. This is crazy, and I'm still dumbfounded. Like, it's probably like a solid 30 minutes later after watching SummerSlam, and I still don't know what to say about it, dude. I'm dumbfounded. I'm at a loss for words. I'm like, yo, what? This was the last thing I expected. But anyhow, though, before we get into all that, let's just talk about the show. Let's talk about the review. Let's get into it, okay? So the first match we got, it was the Raw Women's Championship triple threat match, and it was Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Naomi for the Raw Women's Championship. And this match, honestly, was kind of disappointing. I expected a lot more from this match. I expected a lot more from these 3 women, like with the talent involved in this match, I thought it was going to be so much better. And I thought this would have probably had potential to be match of the night, if not match of the year contender. And man, I was disappointed. I expected so much more. I expected so much better than what we got. Like, I expected crazy spots, sequences, shocking moments, and we barely got any of that, dude. Any of that. And you're telling me Io Sky was in this match, Naomi was in this match, Rhea was in this match, and this match was still mid? I'm like, who wrote this stuff? This match was, man, you could have got this on a random episode of Raw and nobody would have complained. Man. But luckily enough, though, this match did slightly pick up near the second half, near the end, at the second half, it slightly picked up. But even then, that was too little too late, man. Like, that match already left a bad taste in my mouth, and I was already disappointed. And at the point it started getting good, man, it was just too little too late. And it was too late for me or the fans to care about it. But overall, though, this match was all right. I expected a lot more. I expected it to be a lot better. But at the end, though, Rhea Ripley ended up hitting a riptide off the top ropes on Io Sky. Then out of nowhere comes Naomi, and she immediately rolls up Rhea Ripley. And Naomi retains, and Naomi is still your Raw Women's Champion. Yeah, no, I'm happy about the results, but the match overall, I didn't really, it was all right. I didn't really vibe with it. But anyhow, though, like I said, Naomi, she retained. She's still your Raw Women's Champion. And all I gotta say is proceed with caution. This reign is still going on, and I'm happy about it. Anyhow, though, after this, we got to our second match of the night, and it was a tag team TLC match. And let me tell you, this should have been the opener. This match was, oh my God, dude. I don't even know where to start. In ring wise, this was match of the night. This was the most entertaining thing we got on this show. We got crazy spots after crazy spots. And ironically enough, as goofy as it sounds, we got tables, we got ladders, we got chairs, man. Oh Lord, this match was good. Like, people got Spanish fly through tables, splashes and moonsaults through tables. People got slammed on ladders, People got thrown off ladders. Candice LeRae got thrown off a ladder. Oh my God. This was so entertaining. This was so good. Like I said, this should have been the first match of the night. This would have had fans so hyped, and like the crowd would have went crazy, and then they would have been expecting so much more. I'm saying, like, dude, the fans would have been even more excited for the rest of the show. This should have been the opener. This was insane. I enjoyed this from start to finish. And the energy in this match was just unmatched. The energy, the crowd, the atmosphere. This was perfect. And we got so many interferences. We saw Uncle Howdy, we saw B-Fab, we saw Candice LeRae, we saw Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross. Dude, like, you have to watch this match for yourself if you haven't seen it yet. This match, I can't even begin to put into words how entertaining it was. But at the end of it though, the White Six ended up clearing everybody out. They cleared out every tag team, and Joe Gacy ended up climbing the ladders and he grabbed the tag team titles. And the White Six are still your tag team champions. So the White Six retain, which is pretty cool. But throughout this match, I had false hope. I knew what was gonna happen, but I was still like, man, I hope the Street Profits get it back. I was, man, like, Street Profits are one of my favorite tag teams, and I was like, I know it's not gonna happen, but I was like, man, can they just get it back? Like they showed out too. But anyhow, though, like I said, the White Six they win and they retain, and they're still your tag team champions, and that was that. This was an incredible match. After that, though, we got our third match of the night, and this was the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, and it was Lyra Valkyria versus the man Becky Lynch. And it was a no disqualification match. And this match, let me tell you, it was decent for what it was. Like, there's no words to describe it better than decent. Like, it wasn't anything crazy, anything too memorable. It was just decent. Honestly, it was below average, if I'm being honest. But we're going to give credit and give some props. It was decent. We're going to leave it at decent. So this match, it was decent, but it was very awkward at moments. And it was very awkward at certain spots. Like, we had a spot where Becky Lynch put like a zip tie over Lyra Valkyria's hands, and she didn't even put it correctly. One of Lyra Valkyria's arms were like, they wasn't even zip tied. She only zip tied one of Lyra Valkyria's arms, and it was like basically Lyra was wearing a bracelet. And throughout the whole match, while that scene in the spot was, effective in effect, Lyra Valkyria literally just had to hold her own hand trying to sell the fact that, oh, my arms are, zip tied and stuff like that. And it was pretty glaringly obvious that it wasn't put on correctly. And that kind of, took away from the match for me. And the match overall, it was kind of sloppy. Anyways, though, near the end of the match, for whatever reason, Bayley decided to come out to the aid of Lyra Valkyria. And I'm like, you're in a rivalry and a feud with both of these women. You hate both of these women at the moment. Why are you coming out to help Lyra Valkyria? Like, dude. Like, I'm like, dude, at this point, do we just throw the whole script out? Like, everything that happened over the past 2 months, 3 months, the past couple of weeks, just throw the whole script out. It doesn't matter. I'm like, what's Bayley out here for? Like, it literally doesn't make sense. Bayley can't stand Lyra Valkyria at the moment. Bayley can't stand Becky Lynch. What's she even doing out here? What business does she have out here? Like, man. But anyhow, though, at the very, very end, Bayley accidentally punches Lyra Valkyria in the mouth and the face with a metal chain that was wrapped around her hand. And Becky uses the opportunity to hit a manhandle slam on Lyra Valkyria. And the man, Becky Lynch, is still your women's intercontinental champion. And that was that. But like I said, though, this match, it was just decent. A bit disappointing, honestly, and a bit infuriating at times, but whatever. But anyhow, though, after this, we got to our fourth match of the night. It was the United States Championship match, and it was Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa in a steel cage. And this match, it was a standard steel cage match. It wasn't anything crazy or even memorable, and I was really disappointed because I was looking forward to this match too, with the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. Yarame Fatu. I was so excited. I'm like, dude, this needs to be good. Jacob Fatu needs to show up and show out. And it was just a standard match, nothing crazy. We didn't even get like chairs or anything, and we don't normally get them, but like still, In some steel cage matches, we get like a chair thrown in. There's like kendo sticks and stuff like that. But this one, it was just a standard match. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be or expected it to be. It was kind of disappointing too. But anyhow, though, just as expected, though, just like I predicted, we got interference from both the MFTs, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Talatanga, JC Mateo, Chimichanga, Lakers and 5. We got the MFTs coming out, and Jimmy Uso. We got interference from both of those, groups and people. And then Talatanga at the end of the match ended up handcuffing Jacob Fatu to the top of the steel cage, and by some miracle, some magic, by the grace of God, I guess, Jacob Fatu was able to free himself from the handcuffs, and I guess he just ripped it off. I was like, okay. So Jacob Fatu was able to just rip off the handcuffs. He frees himself. And after that, him and Solo brawl back and forth for a little bit. And thanks to the aid of Talatanga, Solo Sikoa was able to stumble out the ring after Talatanga hit Jacob Fatu in the face with the ring door, the steel cage door. But yeah, Solo just literally stumbled out. He just fell out right onto his booty. And that's how the match ended. And Solo Sikoa is still your United States champion. And for whatever reason, it was, again, like 4-on-2. Solo Sikoa, Talatanga, Tangaloa, and JC Mateo. It was a 4-on-2. And for whatever reason, Solo Sikoa and Talatanga, once again, they run away from Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu, literally, they leave JC Mateo and Talatanga in the ring to get jobbed out by Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu literally destroys them once again. I'm like, dude, it's 4-on-2. What is this? Oh, God. But anyhow, though, after this, we got our fifth match of the night, and it was the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship match. And this match overall, the most entertaining part about it was the entrances. After that, straight mid, straight cheeks. This was a Raw match. This was a house show match, dude. But anyhow, though, the things I did enjoy, let's talk about it. AJ Styles ended up coming out in the Eddie Guerrero inspired attire and entrance, with the lowrider, and he came out with Eddie Guerrero attire. It looked amazing. And AJ Styles' outfit was it. It was said that it was inspired by Eddie Guerrero's outfit that Eddie Guerrero wore in the custody for Dominic Mysterio match. So I thought that was a pretty cool throwback and a pretty cool callback. I enjoyed it. And I found this really great. I found it really entertaining, the entrances. And once again, we have to say it. Rest easy, Eddie Guerrero, a legend. Anyhow, though, during this match, they recreated a couple of vintage Eddie Guerrero spots. They recreated the Eddie Guerrero fake chair shot, and it was really funny. The match overall, though, like I said, it was mid. This was basically a Raw match, and the ending was horrendous. Oh my god. Dirty Dominic Mysterio won by hitting AJ Styles in the face with his boot. And I'm like, dude, what material is this boot made out of? Is this boot made out of titanium? Stop playing with me. A boot to the face knocks AJ Styles out. Dude, it was so infuriating. This ending was horrendous. Dominic Mysterio smacks AJ Styles in the face with his boot, then hits a frog splash, and that's how AJ Styles loses. And I'm like, dude, what is this garbage? Because I don't even mind, Dominic Mysterio winning. That's an issue all on its own. But from getting smacked in the face with a boot, is the boot made out of titanium? For real, for real. Somebody has to let me know. Jesus Christ. Dude, I'm so over this. And you have Dominic Mysterio retaining. He had the championship for months at this point, and he hasn't done anything with it. He didn't do anything with it. What's he gonna do now? You couldn't just give it to AJ Styles and so we could get something new, a breath of fresh air or something. What's Dominic Mysterio realistically gonna do with it at this point? Nothing. He hasn't been doing anything. He's not gonna do anything with it, and he will continue to do nothing with it. Man, this was infuriating. But you know what? Let's move on before I go on a whole nother rant. After a horrendous, matchup lineup of matches besides the TLC match, we finally got to our main event, and it was Cody Rhodes versus the greatest of all time, the never seen 17, the last real champion, John Cena. I forgot which announcer used to say it like that, but anyhow, though, it was John Cena. And it was a street fight, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in a street fight. So Cody Rhodes' entrance was really dope. I like the little speech they gave, giving credit and flowers to Cody Rhodes' father, Dusty Rhodes. They did a little speech for that. And Cody Rhodes' entrance overall was so dude, it was unbelievable. It looked amazing. And I just know that WWE blew the whole next month's pyro budget on this entrance alone. Dude, we got so many fireworks and stuff like that. I'm like, nobody's getting pyro from here on out for the next month or two, okay? Let that be known. Don't be shocked when people like Brock and stuff like that are coming out with no pyro. Cody used all of it up. People like Damian Priest, no pyro. Cody used it all of it up, No pyro for anyone, okay? But anyhow, though, we even got the old-fashioned John Cena entrance, the real John Cena entrance, with color, the John Cena's name in color, stuff like that. We got the old John Cena entrance, and the crowd absolutely erupted. They popped. The crowd went crazy. And we saw a glimpse of the old John Cena back, the real John Cena, Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect. We saw the real John Cena back, and I was so happy. The crowd went crazy. The crowd were ecstatic. And dude, I'm thinking about it now. The fact that John Cena really lost his championship, and this was the first time we saw the real John Cena back. And I'm like, man, really? But I was like, really? We only got a glimpse of the real John Cena for 1 week before he lost the championship. That was kind of, I don't know, whatever though. That was such a wasted heel turn for no reason, literally for the shock. We should have just got this the whole time. People would have not complained. Okay. But anyhow, let's just get right into the match. At the very tippy top of the match, John Cena and Cody Rhodes, they hug it out. Then after that, they hug out, John Cena gives some compliments, I guess, or, he says a message to Cody, whatever, giving Cody credit or props. After they hug it out, straight away, the match starts, and it's just straight ruthless aggression. Dude, in this match, we got steel chairs, we got stairs, we got crutches, we got microphones, we got tables, trash cans, steel rails, turnbuckles. This match had it all, This match was really entertaining. But throughout this match, Cody Rhodes was just spamming Cody cutters. John Cena was spamming AAs. It was so funny. I'm like, dude, come on. And they just kept kicking out of it. I was like, okay. I'm like, isn't it enough at this point? Dude, it was crazy. But overall, though, the in ring action was actually really good and really entertaining. These men were pulling pile drivers, sunset flips, leg drops from the top rope. They were just pulling moves out of thin air, out of nowhere. Cody even got AA'd through the announcer's table. And we got a crazy scene where John Cena used Cody Rhodes' elevator entrance. Like he was literally rising up from the ground with Cody Rhodes on his shoulders. That looked cinematic, to say the very least. That looked amazing. I was like, dude, that was dope. That needs to be some sort of picture, that needs to be some sort of wallpaper. That looked amazing. But after that, though, Cena ended up kicking out of 3 consecutive crossroads, which was pretty crazy. And that wasn't even the most unbelievable part of it. Cody Rhodes kicked out of 2 AAs and an AA off the top rope. I was like, man, make this a little bit believable. Stop spamming finishers if they're going to keep kicking out of it. This is kind of, like, this is a finisher fest at this point. Like, you just keep spamming out finishers and they keep kicking out of it. It makes it feel a little bit unimportant, like the finishers at the very least, like, no way Cody Rhodes should be, like, he got, like, AA 3 times prior to this, and he gets AA twice again and AA'd off the top rope with an avalanche AA, and you tell me he's still kicking out? Come on, dude. But anyhow, though, like I said, this match was still fun, in the name of entertainment, we're just going to overlook all that nonsense. But yeah, at the very end, though, Cody Rhodes ended up hitting a cutter off the top rope through a table, and he hits a crossroads on John Cena for the win. And he actually beat John Cena cleanly. Well, Cody Rhodes was a heel in this match. He was heelish, very aggressive, but he did win by himself. There was no interferences on John Cena's side or Cody Rhodes' side. Straight clean down the middle, as clean as it could get anyway, And Cody Rhodes, surprisingly enough, he won. I was shocked. I was like, really? There's no way. I wanted John Cena to retain so bad. But, it was a cool moment nonetheless. I'm not complaining about the match. The match was amazing. The finish, I thought John Cena was going to win. I wanted John Cena to win, but that's just the fan in me. But yeah. Anyways, though, Cody Rhodes hits John Cena with a cutter through the tables and a crossroads for the win. Cody Rhodes is your new undisputed champion. Like I said, though, this match was amazing. And in the very end of the match, Cody Rhodes and John Cena hug it out. They pay respects to one another. Cody Rhodes even tears up. He starts crying a little bit. And then Cody Rhodes leaves the ring. And John Cena's just there drinking it all in. The fans are like, John Cena's drinking in the moment. The fans are just chanting, thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena. And you see John Cena really, like having a sentimental moment. He knows, his time is coming to an end in WWE, his wrestling career. And he's just enjoying it, drinking in the moment. And like, hearing the thank you Cena's from the fans. Like, he deserves it, so everybody was just chanting thank you Cena. And out of nowhere, we hear dun 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 dun. We hear Brock Lesnar's theme song hits, The Beast Incarnate. And I was like, no way, stop playing with me. I'm like, what? There's no way. And Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, he just comes strolling out. He stands at the top of the entrance ramp. He stares John Cena down. He walks down to the ring area and he circles it. And then he stares down John Cena once again. And then out of nowhere, he charges into the ring, and he hits John Cena with an F5 and he leaves John Cena laid out. And Brock Lesnar is officially back in the WWE. And dude, I'm like, there's going to be so much controversy around this. There's going to be so much to talk about. The fans, I know the fans aren't going to like this, like there's so much story behind, Brock Lesnar not being in WWE, the controversy and stuff like that. I'm telling you, the intern is going to have a field day with this. Like, the fans have so much to talk about. And I know the fans are going to be mad about this too. Cause like, it was a pretty serious, allegation and court case, stuff like that. So like, I don't know how I feel about this either, quite honestly. So yeah, anyhow, though, Brock Lesnar's back. And that's how it ends, John Cena getting F5 by Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar leaving John Cena laid out, and Brock Lesnar stands tall. So I guess that's going to be John Cena's next rivalry. So that's pretty cool, I guess. Pretty neat, if we're thinking WWE-wise, I guess. But anyways, though, all hype aside, Night 2 was disappointing, like I said, in my opinion. We literally only had 2 good matches, and it was the main event in the Tag Team TLC match. So, with that in mind, I can't in good heart rate Night 2 of SummerSlam anything higher than a 5 out of 10, honestly. So Night 2, I'm rating it a genuine 5 out of 10. Like I said, it was disappointing. I expected a lot more from a lot of these matches, And if we're looking past all the hype and like the cheap pops, this was no higher than a 5 out of 10. But anyhow, though, that was my review and my breakdown of SummerSlam Night 2. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. And like, comment, and subscribe if you choose to. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm out.